Back now, and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent announcing a tax filing relief for DHS employees impacted by the partial government shutdown. He said this: as they continue to show up under extraordinary circumstances without receiving a paycheck, President Trump, the Treasury Department, and the IRS will provide affected DHS employees with a 30-day automatic extension for this tax filing season with penalty and interest relief. Now, under the measure, affected workers have until May 15th to file their taxes.
Mr. President, I move to table the House message.
The question is on the motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. The motion is agreed to.
Okay, action on the Senate floor happened a short time ago this morning. The upper chamber rescinding their partial DHS funding bill to the House, and the House, though, adjourning quickly after taking no action. Senate Majority Leader John Thune is on standby. We'll find out what's happening with him live in a moment. First, Bill Malugin sets the table. He's live on the Hill. And Bill, where are we now? Good morning.
Bill, good morning to you. Democrats are already taking a victory lap over all of this. They are accusing Republicans of caving here because they're agreeing to fund all of DHS except for ICE and CBP. It is the exact same Senate bill that passed at 2 o'clock in the morning last Friday. So Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer reacting to all of this, he posted, quote, House Republicans cave. They've agreed to pass the Senate bill to fund DHS except for ICE and CBP that unanimously passed a week ago. Democratic House Whip Catherine Clark posted, quote, House Republicans just folded because Democrats stood strong. We're going to pay TSA agents and stop the airport chaos without another dime for ICE. So here's what happened this morning. The Senate set aside the House-passed DHS funding bill, which funds all of DHS for 60 days. And instead, the Senate repassed their own bipartisan Senate bill, which funds DHS partially with $0 for ICE and CBP. They sent that over to the House, and the House didn't take that bill up in their own session this morning. They quickly adjourned and will meet again on Monday. Senate Majority Leader John Thune told reporters off camera just a short time ago, this is the road they had to take because he says Democrats weren't serious about ICE and DHS negotiations. And remember, after this DHS bill was passed by the Senate in the middle of the night last Friday, House Speaker Mike Johnson trashed it.
This gambit that was done last night is a joke. I'm quite convinced that it can't be that every Senate Republican read the language of this bill.
Well, if you have some whiplash here, you're certainly not the only one, because now Speaker Johnson and Leader Thune are apparently on the same page supporting this Senate bill and say they're going to try to get ICE and CBP funded through the complicated budget reconciliation process, which requires no Democratic votes in the Senate, but it can take months to end up getting done. And remember, the entire reason that Democrats started this DHS shutdown in the first place, which is now the longest DHS shutdown in history, is because they were demanding dramatic reforms to the way ICE operates. Well, now they're getting zero of those ICE reforms, not a single one, because negotiations in the Senate fell apart.
There were 10 of them on their list, too. You're right about that, Bill. Thank you. Live on the Hill. Yep. Dana.
So Senate Majority Leader John Thune, we've been laughing on the 5 because nobody can explain what a discharge petition is. And I'm not going to ask you to do that here because I think the bottom line people want to know is what changed from last week to today, and will the airports get back to working in regular order?
They will, Dana, and what's changed between last week and today, obviously, is I think a realization that of all the options that are out there, this is the best option. And honestly, the one thing I would take issue with, and that is that that ICE and CBP aren't funded. They are funded because of the foresight that we had last summer. The president, working with Republicans in Congress, pre-funded ICE. And ICE and CBP are both funded till the end of the fiscal year, ICE well beyond that for multiple years. But the other agencies that are covered by DHS, whether that's TSA or Coast Guard or CISA or FEMA, those are all agencies that currently aren't funded. So we had to get funding to open those up because the Democrats shut down funding for the entire Department of Homeland Security because they didn't want to fund law enforcement. They now own the moniker. They are the party of open borders, anti-law enforcement, defund the police. That is the position they have taken. Notwithstanding that, Those agencies are funded because of the work we did last summer and will be funded in the future because of the decision we made to move a budget reconciliation bill that will provide funding for those law enforcement agencies well into the future. So this is the plan to move forward. It is a way that takes care of everybody today and into the future, and exposes the Democrats for what they are, which is the party of anti-law enforcement.
Is the White House fully on board this particular plan?
Well, I never speak for the White House or for my colleagues in the House. I try and just focus on our work here in the Senate, Dana. But there have been lots of conversations that have gone on the last few days. I've been in touch, spoken with the White House and with the Speaker multiple times. And I think what everybody realizes that, we have to do this now without Democrat votes. And the way to do that, obviously, is to do it through the budget reconciliation. But because everything is funded until the end of the fiscal year, all that does is make sure that in future years, those agencies also have funding. So it's it's a complicated, as you point out, process, and certainly in the Senate where we have procedures that require supermajorities, you have to have some Democrats, and in this case, the Democrats, after we negotiated with them for 40 days on reforms, made it very clear they didn't really want reforms. And as Bill pointed out in the lead up to this, they got zero of that. So they wanted all these restrictions on law enforcement agencies, on ICE and CBP. They got none of that. They walked away from the table, and it was clear at the beginning that they didn't want to do anything to fund either one of these agencies because that is what their left-wing base is demanding. They are a party now, a party of open borders and defund law enforcement.
Schumer said you caved. Did you?
No, we didn't cave. I mean, ultimately, what the Democrats did, you can say this was all about for 40 days, and I was a part of a lot of those meetings for 40 days. It was all about, quote, reforms, restrictions on ICE and on CBP agents and what they could or couldn't do. They got none of that. They got zero of the reforms that they were advocating for. In the end, this was all about their left-wing base demanding that no funding be provided. The good news for us is we saw this coming, and we pre-funded this last summer.
Okay.
So ICE and CBP are funded and will be funded at the end of the fiscal year, and then we'll plus up and add to those accounts to make sure they're funded in future years.
Let me ask you, just squeeze in here in the time we have, a second topic about gas prices. President Trump talked about gas prices being a short-term increase last night. Here's what he said.
Many Americans have been concerned to see the recent rise in gasoline prices here at home. This short-term increase has been entirely the result of the Iranian regime launching deranged terror attacks against commercial oil tankers in neighboring countries that have nothing to do with the conflict. This is yet more proof that Iran can never be trusted with nuclear weapons.
Today, Senator Thune, the average gas price, according to AAA, is $4.08. So that's a lot more than people were paying a month ago. Do you think the president reassured Americans that these prices will come down as this war concludes?
I do. I think he made that assurance, and I think, in his view, and I think in the view of our military leadership and war planners, many of the objectives have been achieved. Obviously, opening up the strait is going to be a key part of that. The president's made it very clear whether that happens the hard way or the easy way, it will happen. And things will start to stabilize, Dana. You'll start to see those gas prices come down to a more normal range. But this was an important step that the president took. It's in America's vital national security interest to ensure that the Iranians don't have a nuclear capability and that their ballistic missile capabilities are diminished and degraded in a way that they don't threaten not only that region but the entire world. And it's a step that was long overdue. Obviously, it will be hopefully in the next few weeks played out, and we'll have achieved the objectives that we need to have achieved.
Senator Thune, thank you for joining us, and a happy Easter weekend to you and your family. Thank you.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.